Part 2. How to get ready to play electric guitar. How to select your guitar and equipment. Types of electric guitars. Electric guitars come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and this is not mainly for aesthetic purposes. The type of guitar that you use will definitely influence your playing style, which is why I recommend a balanced and versatile guitar for beginners. The Stratocaster. If you are a beginner and you already own an electric guitar, chances are it will be a Fender Stratocaster or something which closely resembles the Strat. The Stratocaster is arguably the most popular type of electric guitar and has practically come to symbolize the electric guitar the world over, for a good reason. It is simple, yet very versatile. If you don't have an electric guitar yet, I would recommend you get this one. Amplifiers. The amplifier plays a huge role in shaping your sound. Basically, there are two types of amplifiers, tube amps and solid-state amps. Tube or valve amplifiers use vacuum tubes to amplify the signal coming from your guitar, while solid-state amplifiers use transistors and ICs. While guitarists in general praise tube amps because of their unique and vintage sound, I would recommend that you get a decent 15 or 30 watt solid-state amplifier instead, since you'd probably be using this mostly for practice. Not getting too much into detail, a small solid-state amp is a lot cheaper and requires less maintenance compared to a tube amp. Effects and other peripherals. 1. Effects and pedals. Effects processors, pedals, and stomp boxes alter the signal from your guitar to the amplifier, so you can have a broader palette of sound. The effects units available for the electric guitar can be mind-boggling, so we won't get too much into that, but for starters I would recommend that you start with an overdrive or distortion pedal, because you will need to practice playing with and without distortion. 2. Cables. Cables rarely differ in design, and the tonal difference a regular cable makes is rarely evident. While shielded and noiseless cables are ideal, these are often expensive, and the benefits are often negligible in a regular session. You'll be better off buying reasonably priced cables for now, and in this case the brand name is often a good indicator of the quality. If in doubt, you can always ask if you can try them out on the spot, and you can also check the quality of soldering on the end plugs. 3. Strap. It can be easy to overlook the importance of the guitar strap, but this is something you should really invest in. An electric guitar can be very heavy, and your strap should be able to help you support this load comfortably, so that the weight won't affect your playing. Get a good sturdy strap, preferably made out of leather. 4. Picks. For starters, I would recommend that you get a Dunlop Tortex standard pick. Thin picks are great for strumming, while hard picks are better for fast picking. A sharper tip will give you more note definition and more attack, while a rounder tip will provide less resistance when picking. 5. Strings. Strings come in different gauges, which usually appear on the packaging like this: 0.009, 0.011, 0.016, 0.024, 0.032, 0.042. String diameter is measured by thousandths of an inch, starting with the thin E followed by B, G, D, A, and the thick E string. The thicker the gauge, the fuller and heavier the sound, although the gauge that you use should depend on what kind of sound you are trying to achieve. Thicker strings are also harder to fret and pick, which is why I recommend that you use a thinner gauge for now, and just move to a thicker gauge if you prefer, once you develop hand strength and dexterity. 6. Tuner. The tuner is another indispensable piece of equipment you should not be without. Most multi-effects processors already have tuners built in, but if you don't have one, you can just buy a tuner separately. A tuner is an inexpensive piece of equipment that can be found at almost every music store. How to set up your electric guitar. Tuning the guitar. Always use your tuner to tune up your guitar. If you don't have a tuner, you can tune it by ear, but I certainly would not recommend this for a beginner. Your ears need to get used to the correct pitches, and the only way to get in tune accurately is to use an electronic tuner. However, if there really is not a tuner at hand, use the two following methods. Method 1. Start from the E6 string, the thickest string. It has to be tuned exactly to E, otherwise all other strings will also be out of tune. Once in tune, fret it on the 5th fret, A, it should give you an A note. Then lower the pitch of your A5 string. You have to do this so you can tune up until the pitch of your A5 string is in unison with the A note on your E6 string. Pick the A note on the E6 string and on your A5 string in succession. Tune the A5 string up until its pitch is exactly the same as the A on the E6 string. Do the same on the A5 string. Fret it on the 5th fret to get a D. Tune down the D4 string, then tune it up until both strings are in unison. Do the same on the D4 string. Fret it on the 5th fret to get a G. Tune down the G3 string and then tune it up until both strings are in unison. On the G3 string, you will have to fret it on the 4th fret instead of the 5th, since B is on the 4th. Again, tune down the B2 string, then tune up until both strings are in unison. Fret the B2 string on the 5th fret to get an E. Tune down the E1 string, then tune it up until both strings are in unison. Then pick the E6 and the E1 to check if they are in unison. Method 2. Tuning with harmonics. This is a more accurate, although a bit trickier way of tuning your guitar. Instead of fretting your reference note, you will have to play it using natural harmonics, which involves deftly touching the string at the correct position and then releasing it at just the right moment after picking. A harmonic note is stripped of overtones, which is why the timbre of harmonic notes of the same pitch played on different strings will sound almost exactly the same. This is what makes this method more accurate. To start, make sure that your E6 string is perfectly in tune. It will again act as your reference for tuning the A5 string. The harmonic note you need to get on your E6 string is E. Gently place a finger on your E6 string, almost directly over the 5th fret wire. Release your fretting finger almost at the same time you pick the string. The resulting note should sound a bit like a bell. It will be high-pitched and even shrill if you have a bit of gain on. It should not sound muted or round or full. This will take a bit of experimenting on your part, a bit of trial and error before you get used to the technique. You'll notice that a harmonic note rings out a bit longer than a fretted note. Using the E harmonic note on your E6 string as reference, play a natural harmonic note on the A5 string by fretting gently over the 7th fret wire. Tune the A5 string up until it sounds exactly the same as the harmonic E on the E6 string. Always tune up to the desired note and not down. Our ears are partial to higher pitches and run the risk of tuning slightly higher than your reference note if you're coming from a higher pitch. The next two strings, the D4 and G3, can be tuned in the same manner. Play the harmonic note on the 5th fret wire of the reference string, then play a harmonic note on the 7th fret wire of the string below it. Tune it up until both are in unison. Now, since the guitar is tuned in such a way that the B note happens to fall on the 4th fret of the G3, the tuning method we did earlier will not work. To tune your B2 string, play a harmonic note above the 7th fret wire of your E6 string. This should give you a correct B harmonic note. Play the open B2 string and tune it up until it is in unison with the B harmonic note on the E6 string. The E note will now be on the 5th fret of your B2 string. Play the harmonic note on the 5th fret wire of your B2 string and then play the harmonic note on the 7th fret of your E1 string. Tune up until both are in unison. Since both methods will require you have your E6 to be perfectly in tune, you will see that a tuner is still the best way to get your electric guitar in tune. It is a worthwhile investment since you still need to use it, even if you progress to being an advanced player. It will also prove especially handy in situations where you won't be able to hear yourself tune, like gigs or if you don't have an amplifier to plug into. How to set up the amplifier. There are no correct settings for your amp. Just plug in your guitar and feel free to experiment. All you need to do is to get a sound that is pleasing to your ears. This is essential because music is all about making sounds that you like to listen to. Make sure the volume is just right, not too loud, not too soft. To avoid damaging your ears, you may need to use earphones. I like to use earphones when playing or practicing alone. This way I can turn down the volume to block out external noise and at the same time listen closely to the quality of the notes I play without having to turn up the volume and disturbing other people. If your amplifier has an equalizer, low, mid, treble, play around with it. This will definitely affect the way you play and even your tone preference. I personally prefer to raise the mid most of the time, and just play around with the lows and highs, depending on what I'm playing. I believe that the mid-range is the natural range of the electric guitar, but it can be quite hard to play with a boosted mid-range because it will also bring out your picking and muting mistakes.